Studies podcast. My name is Alicia Mackey, and I'm the 6th grade Global Studies teacher.
And my name is Gregory Wright. I'm the Global Studies Coordinator and Global Liaison here at Global Leadership Academy Charter School.
Today we have a special guest today, and I think this guest is someone who we've been waiting for a long time because we have the principal of our school, Miss Shoshana Tyler here, and she's going to kind of talk to us about her leadership role and like why a black woman in leadership here at a predominantly black school is so important. So before we even get to our special guest, I just wanted to highlight that we are celebrating Women's History Month. We are steadfast in it. Women's History Month comes with a lot of beauty. There are a lot of women in this world who do a lot of great things, and we want to highlight our own in this Global Studies podcast.
So even before we get started and we talk about Principal Tyler's amazing accomplishments, I just would like for her to go and tap into her growing up in Brooklyn and coming out and seeing the things that she has experienced to lead her to get to this point. Principal Tyler.
Wow. First of all, greetings, peace and greetings. It's a privilege to be in this space. I have had a chance to hear some of your previous podcasts, and you all are doing great work. I feel very proud to be a part of it, and I thank you for the invitation. First of all, happy Women's History Month to all. Shout out to Black women. Black women just are it for me. But I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to kind of speak to my experience, just overall, and specifically the role that I serve at Global Leadership Academy Charter School. And let's get started, shall we?
Absolutely.
All right.
So with that being said, I kind of preface my question because I have a little peek behind the curtain because we kind of started here at or about the same time.
Did we, Mr.
Yes.
Wright? We did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So we started here at Wing Site up on the second floor. By the time you were a 4th grade teacher, and I've watched you go from being a 4th grade teacher to an academy leader to now a principal of a school, and you're leading a staff of about 50 or so, and Lord knows 700 students. What is that journey? What was that journey? And coming from the humble beginnings in Brooklyn to this point here, it's an amazing story, and it's one that needs to be heard.
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, it's an honor, it's a privilege. I don't take lightly the role and the pressure of being in the seat. I think that if you had asked me 15 years ago when we first started out, Mr. Wright, if I would be the principal of GLA or any school, I probably would have laughed at you. But I think that, my experience just speaks to the fact that I think that when it comes to education, I think that when it comes to serving children and communities, I think that it's a gift. I think that, there's something in you that sometimes we don't even see, that other people, I think I have been fortunate enough for other people to really pull those things out of me. When I think back to growing up in Brooklyn, New York, there were so many educators who come to mind who I think were a safe space for me, who poured into me, who saw greatness in me when I didn't see it in myself. And so when I think about the kind of school that I wanted to lead, I wanted to create a school where Black children could be free, where Black children could be celebrated for their authenticity, could be celebrated for their creativity, and where we could really cultivate a staff of people who were committed to just Black excellence and teaching children their history, teaching them to take pride in who they are, and most importantly, teaching them to be fearless, right? To be able to step into any space and feel like they are prepared to be able to compete with anybody, right? Whether it's in West Philly, whether it's in Brooklyn, whether it's in Shanghai. And so I think GLA has afforded me the space to be able to do that. And, we've been doing great work, and there's more to come.
Absolutely. I think there's so much beauty in what you say because listening to your journey and knowing there's no end of the road, it just keeps going, especially for our young women, is something that we as grown adults want to keep pushing on them because they're the ones that have to step up and they have to look to somebody. And you mentioned about being a role model, and we talked about mentorship in our last episode. And I think I saw, correct me if I'm wrong, I saw a young lady, I think there was an event going on in the school and they dressed up as someone who was like influential to
Yes.
them. And I saw that there was this Black History program, and I saw that there was a young queen that dressed up in her red, just like Principal
You know what?
Tyler.
It was the blazer, okay? It was more about the blazer than the color, but I'm gonna let you have that one, Miss Mackey. But I mean, yeah.
But with that being said, seeing little women look up to you, what's your message to the queens in the building? What's something that you want them to know in regards to your role and just moving forward, what life has to offer? Because there is so much. But what's your message to our queens?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have a lot, but my message, I think, in short, is just to be authentically you. When I think about even the idea of being a role model, I think a lot of times you can't dream something if you don't see it. And so I think just being able to see, I was 30 years old, I think, when I became the principal here at GLA, right? I was pretty young. I started here at 22 years old. And so to, by age of 30, be sitting in the principalship, I think is something for our young women to see and aspire to, right? There were people who I was managing who were older than me, right? And so what does it mean to be able to, develop the skills to be able to navigate relationships with people, to be able to just walk into a space and acknowledge that I don't, as the leader, know everything, right? I think that there's a level of humility that you have to have as a leader where people don't respect you because of the title. They respect you because of what you do. And so I think that I oftentimes try to lead through. There's nothing in this building I wouldn't do, right? So whether it's, something or have done, right? I've served in so many different capacities, and I think that people can see that and can see that I'm not above anything at all. So I would just say to the young women, just being authentically you, right? You can walk into a boardroom and still, have your hair natural or, have acrylic nails. All those things, I think, a lot of times in corporate America that we're taught to kind of dumbed down. I reject that. I think that Black women should be able to show up as their full selves. I think that Black women are more than their trauma. I think, when I think about my experience with the people that I looked up to, I think for a long time I equated success with like burnout, right? And having to work yourself to death. And I reject that. I think that there's a way to have an importance of having work-life balance. I think it's important to be able to teach that there is resistance and rest, right? And so how do we really teach our young people to be able to look for just and aim for full lives that are beyond just career, but that allow them to be able to do the things that they enjoy, to be able to, travel, to be able to just do all the things that light them on fire, but also be okay with resting because that's okay too.
You mentioned the term authenticity. I've seen not just the authenticity, but also the compassion, also the creativity, also the dedication. Mm-hmm. All that comes into a calling. I've seen scholars here who have followed your track into not just organizations that you're members of outside of here because of your influence. I've also seen a group of people who I dubbed my sisters that to this day, even though you're the only one still here, y'all are still together. So I think that authenticity is the key because it travels. It's not that Principal Tyler is this person here and then, Miss Tyler is this person outside of here. They're all one. Mm-hmm. And when I see you in the Target, which
he's going to say Target because I'm always in Target. Thank you, Mr. Wright.
Selfless plug, right? But the point is that about being authentically you. I'm one of those people, just for the sake of this conversation, that's older than her, that she manages, right? So the bottom line is that the respect shows, and the respect is there because what you do in your calling is authentic. And in our last 49 seconds, just want to thank you. Just thank you for being you. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your willingness, most importantly, to listen. Might not always get your way, but you still listen. Your door is always open, and there's never a time where you don't have time for any of us. Even if you're having a meeting, you'll get back to us. So to that, you put that stuff will travel with you wherever you go. So Principal Tyler, I just want to thank you for all that you do, all that you can continue to do, and everything that you have here.
Absolutely, and I can go on and thank you for all the support and mentorship that you have given to me, even though sometimes I probably drive you insane.
No. No.
But one thing I can say about this space is that you are always there for us. You'll go to bat for us. You'll never let anybody talk bad about us. Like, she's our ride or die,
Right.
whether you
all make it
want to or
easy.
not.
You make it easy. Trust me. You make it easy.
As we close out, make sure you check out our Queens Empowerment. Tonight is our final episode, so if you'd like to check that out, make sure you tune into the Zoom, and you can find that information on any GLA platform if you are looking. And we just want to close out episode 7 of the Global Podcast with our fearless leader and our principal Shoshana Tyler. Thank you so much for being on our show today.
Thank you for having me. This was awesome.